The fact that I can play around the world is probably not stand-up. It's The Office and extras and
it's a similar thing. You're teaching your audience that you do stand-up in the same way that I'm teaching my audience that I do stand-up. You know, you're teaching them that you don't just write sitcoms, then you don't just add in, it's like...
I think as Brits, we know how cynical the Brits are. Like, the Renaissance man in Britain is looked down upon because they go, why do you think you're good at 5 things? You're not good at any of them. Whereas that's not the case in America. It's you know what I mean? It's like
they're trying to tell everyone that they're great at everything.
Yeah,
of course.
Everyone, the people that I want to be the new Will Smith. I want to do, I want to do everything. You know, and the people are very suspicious here of someone who wants to do that.
Yeah,
I want to do everything. Well, you're not going to be good at anything then.
Yeah,
and I still sort of think that deep down, but it's not necessarily true. You can be an absolutely fucking talented Superman and be good at it, but it's very rare. And we're very. We also don't like people who are good at too many things.
That's the hard thing. Which I think it's influencing. I think the internet, as you said before, is changing everything. So like, the American comedy circuit is sort of seeping into the English one, and the English is seeping to there. So it's kind of this thing, it's kind of sea that's constantly moving. Where, you know, it used to be to be an English comic, you had to be this sort of downtrodden, ugly, like you know, you always had to hit. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to look at you.
You broke the mold, haven't you? yeah.
And then in America, they could come on and they had sort of their muscle shirts on and be like, "What's up?" and everyone would be like, "Woo!" Whereas that line is being blurred slightly. I like the side of the line that we are on as English
I
comics.
also think the emphasis has changed a little bit because again in America, you know, people wanted to get they did stand up to a room of producers to get on The Simpsons or Letterman or get their own show or get a film, and now it's the Holy Grail again. Because I think, you know, stand-ups are they're rock stars again. And I don't mean that it's the new rock and roll. It isn't. What I mean is they're themselves. Yeah. So when they step on the stage, it's not like actors can be in big Marvel, you know, but it's the rubber outfit we like. Do you know what I mean? We wouldn't go and see the bloke who's playing Superman in concert.
Yeah,
because we don't care about. Whereas a comedian is the person who steps off the stage and steps on the stage like a rock star is. Do you know what I mean by that? So I think that it has become more the Holy Grail again, and people are working hard at it, and they're trying to stand out in a crowd. And Netflix has done that as well. Like you know, the biggest specials are they are the sort of best because they're talked about. They're not just popular, but they're really good because that person's really fucking good at stand-up. So, you know,
people are so good at stand-up these days. Yeah, like it is so, the standard is so much higher. At least in this country. I mean, it's the same everywhere. But like,
it's still different though, isn't it? It is still different about British stand-ups and what they aspire to and what they do on stage is still very different to American stand-up.
It is different, and it should be different. It should be different. I don't want it to be the same. Yeah, I don't like. I was doing loads of shows in Canada last month, and it was like exciting to go into like a comedy club environment in another country and go. It is so similar, but it is just different enough that this is a challenge. And I do have to change what I'm doing. I have to change how I approach this.
I think it mainly sort of comes from what our goal is, and like I think Edinburgh Festival changes our circuit entirely.
Well, it makes you write differently. I totally agree. And I've had that influence, even though I didn't do it. My first show was like an Edinburgh show. I wrote it. Yeah, I wanted it to be clever and special, and what you know what I mean, and multimedia and modern, and then I sort of did that with my first 4. I sort of wrote them and went out and practiced being a stand-up. So I felt like an actor doing something written by a comedy writer, which I thought I was more. And then Humanity, I walked out and I found the funny. And this one, Supernature, I've gone too far the other way. It's only stage time at the moment. There is no writing yet. So I've still got I've got to put the writing back into it. To structure it in a way. But it is about stage time. That's what I'd say. You know, you can spend 10 hours writing a joke or go out and do it 10 times. And that you go out and do it 10 times, it's better. It's evolution by natural selection. It works. It fucking works.
Yeah.
Because they've laughed at slightly more each time.
Yeah, and you rely on that instinct that you sort of developed as.
Well, you've got to have that as well. I mean, we're comedians, so if we say something, it's probably 80% there. We know that it's probably but it is getting that.
I always think it's just like it's quite easy, really. After you've been doing it for 10 years or so, it's quite easy to write an hour of jokes. Like, it's quite easy.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to write an interesting hour of jokes. Yeah. I think that's the difference.
It is. Yeah. And the first time I do jokes, they sort of titter because they get it. They're laughing, but it's not fucking, oh my God, you rip their guts apart with this.
Totally.
And sometimes just doing it, even if you do it the same, it gets better. Just the timing and the swish and the orchestration of it. But there's nothing like what comes before it, what is setting it up. You know, you learn something every night from stand-up, and a lot of it can be retrospective. The rules are you go, I know why that worked, that and it didn't. You might be wrong, but just doing it is the joy of it, isn't it?
Oh, it's just the best.
It is ultimately it's just a fun thing to do.
But there's nothing like it either, because I've said this before, but because, you know, I do a bit of everything, but when you write a movie or a sitcom or anything like that, you do your best bet and you worry about it and you hone it and edit it, but then you put it out there and it's finished.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it. You're not in control. Whereas this, it's been said before that it's the odd one out because it's almost not like an art form. It's more like a science because it either works or it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know immediately whether it worked or not because they fucking laughed.
Yeah.
And I know the jury's open on that. And I've been one saying, oh yeah, but I don't want the laugh at any expense. It's got to be the right laugh.
Yeah.
And that's something else. You know, you sort of choose your audience. I don't want to. And I'm very worried about, you know, if I do, you're allowed to do the odd hack thing or the odd groan or but if it's 70 minutes of hack and playing to those coming like that, you die soon.
Yeah.
Those people don't come back to see you because there's someone better than you at that.
Audiences are becoming more educated, which is what I find fascinating, because it used to be sort of the people who were on Mock the Week were sort of a little bit more mainstream.
Yeah.
But now...
Just for Americans, Mock the Week was a panel show that was built around comedy. It was comedians, you know, it would be like around things, the worst thing for someone to say in a lift or things you wouldn't want Boris Johnson to say to you. So there was a sort of vague structure. I assume it was, I've never been on those things, I assume they got the questions in advance and worked on it. And
absolutely.
It
was like a scripted version of Whose Line Is It Anyway, in a way.
Yeah.
Like about topical stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the people who are now on it as regulars are just like...
Is it still going?
Yeah, it's still going. And it's like... And they have great comics on it who are doing interesting stuff, and they're more friends and it's less combative, and they you know, James Acaster does it all the time, and he's an interesting comedian. He's doing some really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And I think audiences are now wanting that. And I think if you go out now and do hack stuff, people want more than that, because
I think they are. I think they're demanding a little bit more.
I think it's a little bit more.
They want to laugh with a free conscience as well. They want to know that they laughed for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And they want to feel clever. They do want to feel clever. And it doesn't take that much to challenge them a little bit.
No.
It's not like you have to go out there and talk about fucking quarks. You know what I mean? You can just not be that fucking dumb.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
What's a quark?
I don't know. Well, that's why I wouldn't
What's a quark and why are you fucking them?
It's another rare animal that he likes to masturbate over. I think it's fascinating. I mean, we could talk about this forever, but it's almost
like... Stand-up is like, it's so... I mean, like most of culture is like it, I guess, but I think stand-up is so similar to sports.
Yes,
in a way that other art things isn't. Because like if you were to get a footballer from 30 years ago and just transport it into a modern team, they would be lost because the game has moved on.
Of course.
Because things are different and people are fitter. And I think stand-up is like that. People are better.
They'd have a cigarette at half-time and their boots would be awful, for one thing. I know. They could be the greatest athletes. You know,
they'd see a DVD player and they would freak out.
Yeah.
But I do think we're just... People are in better shape today. I think people are just... People care more. People work harder.
Well, that's because there was, less to beat. Particularly in Britain, comics... again, we've talked about this before, but I think the old school comic was different in a couple of ways. One, they were when new comedy came, or the new wave or alternative comedy came in, people remember it as kicking out the old guard of racist, sexist, misogynistic, homophobic. But the other thing was that they didn't do their own material. They shared. It was a pool of jokes, which was so odd. So alternative comedians did not only came out and weren't racist and sexist in that sense, but they talked about themselves and their experience and their reflections. So you couldn't steal each other's material because it wouldn't make sense. So that's the big difference. But again, it's got another level now as well, particularly in the present climate, because we're children, we muck around, we're stupid, we're jesters. But sometimes you have to go, well, who's in charge? That we don't trust people in charge, so we've got to take a little bit of a stance. We've got. It feels like politically that we've got wayward parents. Our parents are out drunk, so we've got to look after the house. Do you know what I mean? I think comedians have felt a responsibility. Yeah, to a certain extent.
I think we do have a responsibility, and I think anyone who doesn't think we do, I think is being naive. I think it's.
You can talk, Wanky.
Yeah. I mean, guys, okay? Right, let me tell you.
Oh, God. We can laugh about it now.
Your parents are out and I've just got caught wanking.
Let's play a record.